through on how to use Eagle Animation by Bric-a-Brac or brickfilms.com. The version that I am using is 2.13.1, and this is what you're presented when you open the application or you are on the desktop version, or sorry, the browser version of the same program. Okay, the first thing you need to do is create a new project. Usually you'll be presented with the asking you to name a new project. The reason why it doesn't show in my version is because I already have examples over here that I have created. So first off, you're going to create a new project, and you can see this is what you are presented with. Now, I have already connected my camera to the program. I basically have a cable going from my DSLR camera hooked up to the USB-A port on my laptop. To change or select the camera you're using, whether it is a DSLR camera or a webcam, you need to go to camera settings. You can see that this is this button over here with the 3 lines. When I click on that, I can select the camera device. You can see I have a webcam and my plugged in camera. So I'm just going to select the camera. You can select the number of frames to capture each time you take an image through this program. You can flip your image horizontally or vertically, and you can select frame averaging. What this basically does is it takes multiple pictures when you try to take a frame within the program and tries to balance out the image, removing possible noise based on so basically trying to refine and improve the image quality. White balance, you can select different white balance based on the lighting or situation of your image. You can leave it on manual, which is something where you set it through your camera itself, or you can also select through here. I'm just going to select fluorescent because we are in quite a we are indoors and we are under fluorescent lights. I would not select automatic just because lighting might change as you sort of film or take your pictures, which might cause issues. Lastly, you have exposure, or it's categorized under exposure. You can change your aperture, your shutter speed, and your ISO. Remember, because we've got our camera on a tripod, the shutter speed doesn't really matter too much, so we can bring our shutter speed to be slower, leaving the sensor exposed for longer, while also taking clear images that aren't shaky. Cool, I'll close that. So we have our preview of our shot. This is what the camera is seeing right now. To take a picture, we click on the camera icon. You will also hear that the program has a sound effect to tell you that the picture has been taken. You can change that in the settings when you first start the program if you wish to remove the noise or sound effects. Now I can move my object to another position and I can take another picture. Now, if I want to see my previous frames, I can change this slider. It is called onion blending. It's basically an onion skin where if you click and select it, you can see the previous frame or previous position. I'm just going to move this off the way so you can actually see it. So that's where it was just then. And if I put my object over here and try to sort of make it do a little turn, I can use the onion blending to sort of help me position my next shot so it's not too close or not too far from my previous one, to sort of get a smoother movement or motion. And then I can take another picture. See that position's move, so I'm just going to move it. You can see my previous frame is over there. Some other things we can also change. You can select and enable grid. There are further grid settings available in the settings outside when you start the program if you want to change that. You also have a difference mode which shows you the difference between the two shots, or the previous shot and the live shot. It's not something I would usually use. You also have frames per second. So this is how many frames per second the animation is going to be played at. I'm just going to leave it at 12 frames per second. But if I press play, it'll play my animation from my first frame to my current frame. If I select loop, it will loop that animation. So repeatedly go through the animation cycle. If I click on short play, that would be dependent on the settings for short play that you might have set previously under settings when you first start the program again. So I could continue taking more pictures and looping and playing and previewing my video. If I want to change my frame speed, frame rate, I could also change that. So it's much slower, the animation that is. If I want to change the settings, so I can also go back. You can see I have my file over here. You can change the name. 1 second, I think my preview is in the way. You can change the name of your animation over here. Name. But you can also go to settings here, which is what I wanted to talk about before. We can change your short play settings. You can also remove show live view when loop. It is on by default. I prefer turning this off. Only reason why is that when the live view is previewed and you loop it, it looks a little bit strange or off because of the current preview. Change your grid opacity. You can change your grid type or pattern. So if I click on all three of these and I go back to my animation, I turn on my grid, you can see I have all of these in that preview.